So you kept talking about how America is supposed to be for everyone. America is supposed to be diverse. America is supposed to be, anyone should be allowed to come here, right?
Yeah.
That's how you feel? So if we don't need to have a vetting process and anyone's allowed to come here, and it doesn't matter whether you're a legal immigrant or a illegal migrant. Thank you.
Black privilege.
Yeah. So, you didn't see that. All right, so I learned my lesson, okay? I'm a very friendly person. If you want to shake my hand, fist bump, yo, I'm all for it. You know, anything to help keep the interaction civil, I'm all for it. But, you know, I think I learned my lesson. Fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice. So next time I will reconsider things like that. But anyways, so yeah, this guy stole our signs. As you can see, I am here with the Walkaway campaign. We were at CFU. No, I'm sorry, not CFU. CSU Fullerton, not FU. We were at CSU Fullerton in California a couple of months ago with the Walkaway campaign. And by the way, if you don't know what the Walkaway campaign is, it's a grassroots movement of ex-leftists who encourage current leftists to walk away from the left. I know that's a mouthful, but we were there on this college campus, and this guy just ran up and stole our signs, and that wasn't the only time, by the way, that it happened. And I want to just highlight that part of the exchange because it's going to come really in handy for later on in the video. And so what you're going to watch right now is a conversation that we're having with a college student who wanted to debate us, I say this loosely, debate us on the topic of open borders. And so I'm going to let some of this video play out. And if you want to see the full thing in its entirety, just check out the Walkaway channel. But I wanted to highlight this segment in particular because I just think it's the icing on the cake. All right. So without further ado, enjoy the clip.
Anyone's allowed to come into our country, and we're not allowed to have an immigration system. What is America? If USA is for everybody, what is the USA if we don't have borders? What is it?
A free country. That's what it's called.
How is it a country? How is it
defined? The thing is...
No, can I get an answer to that, please?
What?
How is it a country? We don't have borders.
We still have a government. There's literally other
What
countries.
are we governing? What are our borders? What are the borders of this country?
Literally building a wall doesn't mean that we don't have lines. There's maps. If you need to see where the borders are at, look at a map.
But who are they governing? What
Americans.
Who are Americans?
Us. You and I.
Everybody, right?
Exactly. But the thing is...
Everybody's an American.
We're literally we're a melting pot. So yes, of course, we're going to look different. Of course, we're going to look so much more different. We are literally the epitome of a melting pot.
It's not about us looking different.
Yeah, it's not about us looking different. But if we don't have borders, how are we a country?
So this girl seems to think that borders should be taken as a symbolic suggestion. And we don't need to actually implement physical borders because if we want to know where the outlines of our nation is, you just pull out a map. Duh. Why didn't I think of that? Oh my goodness, it's because it's retarded. It's a retarded thing to say from someone who's not thinking about what they're thinking about, okay? And this is, I'm gonna give her a little bit of grace because a lot of the times, oftentimes, people who think like this, they pick up these ideas from college campuses such as this one. And what she's advocating for without actually realizing it is she's advocating for globalism, this concept of one world governance. Because as Brandon asked, how does our government know where to govern if we don't have physical borders and if we're just allowing people to come in and out of the country whenever they please without going through any formal process? You're advocating for globalism. And now to her, that might seem good in principle. You know, the idea that America is a melting pot and you want more diversity and you want to welcome these people to come into the country to take advantage of all of the opportunities that we have. What makes her think that our way of life would be the norm? Why not the Middle East? Why not live under Sharia law? Why does she automatically think, hey, if we have a one world government and everyone can just go wherever they want at any other time, which by the way, no other country does that. All right, for some reason, these people seem to forget that if they were to go into a different country without showing ID, without going through any formal process, they'd have their ass kicked out or landed in jail. So what makes her think that if we were to have a legitimate world where there were no boundaries and everyone can just come and go, what makes her think that she would still be entitled to the American way of life, to her rights? There would be no need for the Constitution at that point. Who says that America has to be the norm? Who says that the Western values have to be implemented everywhere else? Let's all just wear burqas, okay? Let's all wear burqas and call it a day.
Please don't approach our table.
We're not coming for you. We want the signs.
No, get away from the table.
This is crazy.
Get away from the table.
511. This is crazy. Touching their property. It's a fucking sign, guys.
And this is an example of the privilege that we're talking about too, by the way.
I didn't hear you.
Imagine if a white student did that to a group of black students. Imagine. But to you guys, it's totally normal. So you're allowed to do it. Oh, it's not? It's not? Yeah, what is it exactly? You feel completely entitled to come and steal our property, rush up on us. Imagine if white students did that to black students. Imagine. All right, let's move on to the next question, please.
You guys are so hurt by words and it's so scary for you. I'm sorry that it's so scary for you to have a conversation and a different opinion. You were warned. We're exercising free speech out here today. We're having a conversation. You should be able to handle words and a sign, honey. You need to go back to class because you're not doing very good.
Just to give you guys some added context, when we were setting up for this event, the university placed literal trigger warnings around our table, basically announcing to students that they were about to enter a free speech zone and they might hear some things that would upset them. And my goodness, isn't that so sad? Here you are on this university campus trying to get a higher education to prepare yourself for the real world, and yet you expect trigger warnings? You're gonna have to toughen up. I'm sorry to say, you gotta toughen up because life, you're gonna hear things that you disagree with all the time. And for you to have this visceral reaction to want to commit crimes in front of people because you can't stand what someone else is saying, I think it's a testament to how deluded the progressive worldview is. She doesn't see the irony of the fact that on her own campus, students are committing crimes in real time right in front of her. And yet she seems to think that allowing wide open borders and millions of strangers to pour into the country without being formally vetted is not going to result in an increase of crime. You know, so either she's being intellectually dishonest or she's being incredibly naive. And personally, I think it's a little bit of both. But you know, I think this exchange also speaks to the warped religious worldview of the progressive left. So as a former leftist, leftists tend to believe that the left is inherently good. They tend to believe that they're very righteous and they're moral, but if you actually observe their behavior and you unpack their ideas, morality to them is arbitrary, and it really depends on whether or not you have the right motivations when you do something. And that's drastically different from the Christian perspective, which I'm a Christian, where we see objective morality and we see things as objectively wrong. To them, stealing a sign and vandalizing our table is totally fine because they perceive us to be Nazis and bigots and fascists. And so, I mean, why would you treat a fascist with kindness? You know what I mean? Let's get back to this video because we're about to get to my favorite part of the whole exchange, and you're going to see why in just a second.
Really quickly, because we got a line behind you. You mentioned something about how in America there are no borders, all right, and that everyone who comes into this country should be American. I want to ask, if a random stranger, random homeless person walks into your house, are they now your family members?
Okay.
Yes
the
or no?
relevancy,
Yes or no?
the relevancy
Yes or
does
no?
not count
Yes
in
or no?
this. You're literally using a question that doesn't
Okay,
have
all right.
any
Well, that was my
relevance to
question
it.
because here's the reality. Every single person in here who advocates for open borders is hypocritical because I'm sure when you go to bed at night, you lock the door.
Open borders compared to an open home is completely different.
Just be intellectually
Because-
consistent. Thank you.
How about you be
country
intellectually
is our
consistent?
home.
The thing
Open
is,
borders start at home. If you want open borders, announce to the neighborhood, anyone who wants to come into your apartment can come in, leave the door wide open. You're not allowed to
That's
ask
not-
questions. You're not allowed to check who they are first. That would not be empathetic after all. Would you do that?
literally the Constitution
No, of course
doesn't allow
not.
anyone
So
to come
why
into our
is
homes.
that the standard
We're talking
you want
about
for
our
your fellow
physical home.
Americans?
We're not talking about the borders. The border is completely different compared
It's
to your
not-
literal home. That's your land in terms of you owning your home.
This is our home. And
You're
here-
not
and here's-
welcome here. You're
here's
not
the-
welcome at CSUF.
here-
So this is not your home.
America.
This is not your home. So this is
America.
what I mean
Okay, I hear you. I
by
hear you.
there is you guys are literally trying to cause a correlation when there is no causation.
There is a
in this.
correlation,
There-
but I think that you're just
not- but the
unwilling
thing
to
is-
concede to it.
You're unwilling to concede to my view as well, where there's a difference between a physical home where you
Okay,
reside
I
in
get you.
and where you relax in, because obviously here
I see no difference. But
I mean,
my
here, you're not
my family members are full of immigrants. Okay, we all came to this country legally. We went through the process. We are not against immigration. We are against illegal immigration because here's the reality. When you don't have borders, you are welcoming different worldviews to come into this country that are incompatible with the U.S. Constitution. So if you value your freedom, you would want to know what those worldviews are. And we're taking a lot of people in here. We're not vetting them. We don't know what their beliefs are. So if you're saying, oh, we still have a government, what happens when that government gets taken over with these worldviews that I'm talking about and you lose your so-called rights? Would you be okay with that?
Next person.
Thank you.
I'm noticing a trend that whenever I ask a very simple question, people walk away. It's not like I'm debating data or statistics, because honestly, if I'm being totally transparent, I am not good at debate. Like, I am down here, okay? But all I'm asking is just for her to consider the long-term logical consequences of what she's asking for. And she doesn't want to. And I wonder if it's because deep down, she realizes that she doesn't actually believe what she says she believes. You know, it's one thing to say that we can just let random people come into the country whenever they want. And it's another thing for you to take that in practice and allow random strangers to come into your house whenever they want. You know, and then she gets on this soapbox about saying, oh, well, this is my private property. Earlier in the conversation, she opened with talking about how we should tax the rich. Oh, okay, so you don't care about private property when it pertains to the rich folks, but for you, this is your house and you want to make sure that people in your house are protected. Very interesting, very hypocritical. And listen, again, I'm gonna give these students some grace because they're picking this up. They're picking up this propaganda from professors that have also been propagandized, which, by the way, really, really quickly, if you guys are new to my channel, I've made many videos about this particular book, but I want to point something out to you that I think would be really helpful in your pursuit of understanding what the hell has gone wrong with our education system. And it's all by design, okay? So there's this book that I always recommend called The Naked Communist. And it's basically, it exposes how communists are trying to take over the world, and their last stronghold is America. And they have 45 rules for a communist takeover. And I want to read you really quickly. Rule number 17 is get control of the schools, use them as transmission belts for socialism and current communist propaganda. Soften the curriculum, get control of the teachers' associations, and put the party line in textbooks. So this girl is regurgitating communist rhetoric without realizing it when she says that, oh yeah, borders are just, anyone can just come and go, just look at a map. We don't actually need to enforce it. So she's regurgitating a communist talking point without understanding that's what it is. So yeah, I give them a little bit of grace in that regard, but hopefully this video will reach someone that might be on the other side and maybe they're reconsidering where they stand on these issues. But if you guys want to see the full conversation in its totality, that video I think is like 2-3 hours long, but you can check that out on the Walkaway YouTube channel. Just let them know Gothix sent you. And if you have a suggestion for a future topic or you want to pick my brain on a certain thing, let me know in the comment section below. It will help with the algorithm as well. As always, my name is Vanessa. You may know me as Gothix, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.